Hello and welcome to the Anti-Diet Meals with Farah Kariamburi. I'm your host, deep health practitioner, keynote speaker and the founder of the 30 Day Anti-Diet Challenge. Today is Wednesday and today we're cooking a vegetarian and vegan dish because we do that a couple of times a week at least. So today I've got butternut squash with red kidney beans. I would have liked black beans, however they're not that easy to find, are they? So I have red kidney beans. I've got half a butternut squash here, chopped, ginger, garlic, onions, and I'm going to cook it with a little bit of olive oil and put lots of spices in it, and here we go. Let's start on. Now, half the butternut squash is in the oven. That's being roasted with tomatoes. That is going to be used in making a soup. I am going to use frozen onions for this one. No particular reason apart from sometimes it's just easier to use that. So a tiny bit of olive oil. Remember to always measure yours. Mine is around a tablespoon of that going in. Excuse me, I do have to bang it because it's frozen, just to separate some of the pieces. And we have got around the little peel in there. About a cup of onions in there. There's a butternut squash, a little bit hard to chop. However, not impossible. So you do need to do a little bit of prep while you're doing this, and you need some strong hands to do it. If you struggle to chop up butternut squash, remember your alternative is to buy it cooked frozen and in the frozen section. So it's not like you can miss out on it, so you don't have to. Okay. Keep the heat medium. We've got the garlic in here, ginger in here, red, green chili, of course, in everything. And just wait till the onions are a little bit thawed. And you can hear the noise, that's because they're frozen more than anything else. Always make your base with some yummy condiments is what I call it. And then you've got butternut squash going in it. Now butternut squash is hard exterior, so it's going to take a little while to cook. So don't be put off by it because it's a lovely winter vegetable, and it does come out in the winter for that reason, because you want to have butternut squash soup. You can roast the butternut squash in the oven. You can make a butternut squash mash as well, but it is a carbohydrate, right? It is a vegetable, but it's a starch-based carb. It's not a vegetable like broccoli. So it's sweet, so it has more calories to it. So you remember I told you yesterday, try and have your carbohydrates use your carbs as a vegetable versus starch-based carbs, especially if you haven't moved a lot. Okay, so we're going to pop these beans in here, which are red kidney beans, just use the normal ones. The entire tin, just use your tin. This is from Aldi. Just that in Aldi there's not much variety, but if you go to Sainsbury's, you can definitely pick up the black beans, and black beans and squash go really well together, which would be I would like to cook those two together. So there it is. So bring up the heat a little bit more, and now we're going to add the spices to this. We're going to have this with pita bread today. You can have it with rice as well. It's just there's a lot of carbs in here already, but that's okay. Sometimes you just have days which are vegetarian days, and there are going to be more carbs. It's a good idea to serve a pot of yogurt with this. Now put some tomato puree in this. So now we are looking to make it into a nice, kind of a thick sauce. You see that on the camera. So the tomato puree. Now here, harissa would have been nice, but I have run out. I got way too excited with harissa last week, as you know. I've got also chopped tomato tins in here. Is it chopped one? Yes. Peeled plum tomato. So we're going to put maybe at least half of this in here. Here we go. And make sure you take it out the tin, the remainder, put it in the fridge so that you can use it for the next 2 to 3 days. Just making sure I'm squashing the plums, tomatoes in there nicely. Make sure you take all the sides down so everything's cooking at the same time. Now it's got a bit of colour to this. And now we're going to add some spices. So we are definitely having to add some salt. Definitely need salt for food like this. We're going to add smoked paprika in this. teaspoon will be good. We're going to also add the ginger's already in there, but we're going to add a bit more ground ginger to it. I would have liked some cumin, but I believe I ran out of it. Yes, I have. So what I'm going to do is use curry powder. When in doubt, use curry powder to give it that nice, beautiful flavour. We are going to have to put water in this. We're going to have to because we need this butternut squash to get softer. But basically, just doing this, you can make this in a slow cooker as well. You can put all of this together and just leave it and then let it cook, let it simmer, and it's going to be so beautiful, so tasty and warming in this cold, miserable, well, we don't need to call it miserable. This is the weather that we have. We live in the UK. Expectations must be set to the environment we're in.
It is miserable.
It is miserable, my son's saying, so it is. But it's not sunny, otherwise you would have been outside, wouldn't you? Jumping on a trampoline. And here it is. So let me just taste the spices in this now. Definitely hot enough. Something is missing, not sure what. Okay, so we're going to turn this down. Take your kettle, whatever water is in there. About a cup of water, I will say, pop it in there. And this is the way of cooking butternut squash with beans. You're going to pop this on top. We do need this to be covered. Take down the heat just a tad and then just leave it in there. And then now you can prepare your vegetables or you can prepare your rice or whatever you plan to have. I'm going to show you what is being prepared in my oven. Oh, just drop the keys. So here we have, so the butternut squash was quite big. So what I've done here, as you can see, there's some cherry tomatoes. Actually, I'm not sure they're cherry tomatoes. I think they are cherry tomatoes. So I bought them from Aldi for Saturday, and I wanted to put them in. I wanted to roast them just to see how they turn out. Roasted tomatoes made in the oven, beautiful by the way. Soup, roasted tomato soup. So I'm going to combine this tomato soup with the butternut squash, blend it out, and add some coconut cream to this. And this is going to be our soup. So I'm just trying it, just literally trying out different techniques to cook. I'm not very clued up on how to cook this particular vegetable. I guess one thing that puts me off is how hard it is to peel. But actually, I saw that today. It's not that difficult. And so this has only been in the oven for 15 minutes. It's already soft. I put some salt and some pepper and a bit of olive oil. That's all. Nothing else. So when I put it in a soup, I'm going to just transfer this product when it's softer. Add a vegetable stock cube to it, more water in it, bring it to boil, and then blend it with a blender, and then put some coconut cream in it. Coconut milk, not coconut cream, coconut. Let's put this back in the oven, and let's check on our butternut squash. I need to check the sauce. Yeah, that's it. I can taste it. And just turn up the heat a tad bit. So we're going to serve this with, this will reduce down a bit. We have some pita bread here. Lovely pita bread. Make it softer, and then we're going to have some yogurt to serve that with. In here, there's 8 grams of protein, by the way, just so you know. And then some of the protein is going to come from yogurt. So we are taking a slight reduction in the protein today, but yeah, it's not the end of the world to every single meal to have the total amount of protein. Sometimes you're just going to be falling short in it, but that's okay. It just depends on what kind of day you've had, really. So these are what we're going to fill them up, and the boys like to actually hold the pita bread and eat it in that way. So we're going to have those. and we're going to have a bit of salad also on the side. So this is cooking away nicely, or you can simply, to be honest, have it in a bowl, which is how I'm going to have it really, because there's carbs in there, and I'm going to put a bit of yogurt on top of that, and I'm going to have it like that. Now, how long is it taking to cook this? So this is starting to get soft actually. I'm going to poke it into one to show you. So before I wasn't able to do this, so it's starting to get a little bit softer. Yes, could have actually cut them a little bit smaller for the sake of the live video, but hey, you can't get everything right in life, you just have to experiment with it. So here's our butternut squash curry, and then the one in there is a soup, which I wasn't planning to show you that. I'm really like experimenting with that just to see how it comes out. And if it does come out right, so we'll definitely show you that from scratch how to make it. So today on my live, we talked about the top 5 foods that you can't stop eating. So I asked yesterday, I asked in my Facebook group, what are the 5 foods that you can't stop eating? And most of the people put down the 5 foods they couldn't eat. Was what came up most was wine, crisps, chocolate. Wine, crisps, chocolate was, if you go through my feed on my personal page, Farah Kariamburi, not my business page, the nutritionist one, the other one, you will see there is a lot of wine on it. There's a lot of crisp on it and a lot of chocolate on it. And I was surprised to see there was no one saying ice cream. Some people said things like savoury, most people said more sweet stuff than savoury. But the crisp really was high up on the agenda. No wonder in the UK we have two full aisles in the supermarkets dedicated to every different type of crisp. Now yum yum, then we can't really get away from that notion. So yeah, those were and I discussed about how you can reduce the portion rather than giving up. Because giving up means you will binge, you will think about it. But reduction of these foods means that you'll be able to lose the weight and gain control. Now you're developing a new habit because you reduced it. So if you used to buy the big packet, you know, the jumbo ones, and the thing with crisps is you can eat the biggest packet and not even be full. That's the reality, isn't it? We all know that. So if you were to then bring home smaller or small packets, they're single ones, but as long as you don't keep getting more, then that might help you to reduce your portion sizes when it comes to the foods that you can't put away. So let's not call it bad food or good food. All foods are good. It's our behavior towards food that needs to be looked at. So think about what can you reduce right now out of that list of foods that you can't put away. It could be cheese for you. You know, it could be that you bring cheese and you must eat it. So what you could do is to maybe bring small packets of cheese that you can only open and have, and maybe you might not go into the bigger packet. Or bring less cheese at home. Or if you're really addicted to it, just don't bring it. So just remember where you're at and what can you do. So for me, we call that red foods. Red foods meaning foods we can't put down. For me, that would be raisins, perhaps. Or if I had Ben and Jerry's in the fridge, I'll just eat that. I think I will.
You won't.
I think Ben.
You can't eat with me. You can only eat chocolates.
Only cookie dough I will eat. That is actually very true. So if I had Ben and Jerry's cookie dough in the fridge, I'll eat that. But if we had the chocolate version, there's a, what is it called?
I would eat any.
Rayhan would eat any.
Chocolate brownie.
Yeah, you see the chocolate brownie will not do it for me, so I probably won't touch that. So it's just important to recognize what foods is it that you can't put down. And those are the foods you want to reduce the portion. Getting a hug from son, which is nice. You'd say her nanny's probably watching, say hello to nanny. She might want to look at your face. Teenage.
The phone's hot.
And I'm going to mix to the oven here as well as. I don't like tomatoes like that. I like them roasted in a soup. And as you can see, he's actually getting as tall as me. I think maybe he's taller. Oh, let's look at my camera. Oh my god, he is actually. And we're desperate to have a hair appointment.
Let's take my shoes off.
Yeah, the shoes are quite high actually. So let's have a look.
I've gone all the way down now after this.
Oh yeah, they were definitely shoes.
No, I was taller. How much food is it?
5 and 1.
You're 5 foot. So I'm 5 foot.
No, 5 foot.
I'm taller than you.
Do you know how this?
Look.
Do you know how to play this?
Look.
Well, let's do back to back.
I'm the same height.
You be the judge, guys. Who's taller? Yes. Comment below who you think is taller.
How do you see?
You can't actually see them, unfortunately.
No. I don't mean like 5'1", 5.
I think you're nearly there.
You're taller.
You're taller than me.
Who's that?
Ken from
No.
Len got it. Yeah. No, butternut squash. So, but what's happening actually in here? Butternut squash is actually getting like a bit creamy, and the sauce is getting thicker because of the tomatoes that we have in there, and the onions and the beans. So I think the longer you cook this for, the better you will probably feel the result is. Definitely a nice side thing to like a chicken dish as well.
Can you only see the comments after you say?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
No, there's a comment box.
Yes.
There is, look. There.
On the one above. Let's see if there's any. No, there's no comments. I think sometimes we put comments and I can only see when it's turned off. Right, okay, so we're going to serve this in a bowl and show you.
There's only one person
Let's
watching.
take the photos. I want to show you the butternut squash is actually ready. It's actually very soft. It's really falling apart now. Actually, let's cut it on here and just see how soft it actually is. I think maybe a little bit more because the skin is a little bit harder. No, it needs to be dipped down a bit more. But we won't let you hang there. We're going to let you go.
Bye.
I'm going to just show you how much you'll actually have. Almost like a stew this is. Mine doesn't go. Oh, was that hot? You okay? So that was a little bit hot. And there is the stew and also on here. And I'm going to make sure my child's okay. We will see you tomorrow with a brand new dish. Thanks very much. If you do make it, do tag me, let me know where the photos are. And if you want to check out any of the other videos on this Farah Kariamburi channel, scroll up and you'll see all the rest of them. Take care, guys. Bye for now.